Did you know that over 70% of grade 7 students at the Pembroke High School cannot read above a grade 3 level?
7 years, 642 billion Jamaican dollars. That's how much the Ministry of Education spent or says it spent between 2012 and 2019. And here's the problem: they never submitted the accounts. No independent audits, no parliamentary oversight for 7 full years. Welcome back to the Caribbean Ledger. Today, the missing billions and the ministry that stopped reporting. Everything you're about to see is from the Auditor General of Jamaica's 2021 annual report. I have the pages right here. Page numbers, lines, items, direct quotes. If you disagree, show me the appropriation accounts for the 2012 and 2019.
A lot of things. It has saved me from poverty. I was born at the end of the 1960s, so I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And I thought by 2025 we would have made progress on education in Jamaica. Because as I was reading books, I realized that there was a wider, big world out there where every place didn't look like the place that I was from, and every child did not live the way that I was living. Kudos to my parents for loving us and providing food and shelter and clothing the best way they could, and providing us the opportunity to get an education. And I think one of the biggest problems right now in Jamaica is education.
Seven good years. That's a system failure. According to this report, the approved budget for the Ministry of Education over that period, $642.6 billion. That's 642.6 Jamaican dollars. Here's what the Auditor General says next, and listen carefully. MOEYI's failure to submit the appropriation accounts prevented the independent assessment of the audit. Parliament has been denied the opportunity to assess the MOEYI's stewardship. When a ministry doesn't file its accounts, no one checks if the money was spent properly. No one looks for waste. No one looks for fraud. It's a 7-year blank check. And the Auditor General adds, this risk has materialized, meaning they already found evidence of actual breaches of Financial Administration and Audit Act.
Uneducated people just buying what is sold to them, no critical thinking, no evaluation, no self reflection, just taking the words of people who they think have their best interest at heart, although their lives are not being improved for some reason. They just stick to this. And I think we really need to take a second look on how we're educating our children.
Now, the Financial Administration and the Auditor says ministries must submit appropriation accounts within 6 months of the financial year ending. 6 months or 7 years. But for 2012, 2013 through 2018, 2019, nothing was submitted. Then for 2019-2020, the year they finally submitted something, the Auditor General found multiple breaches. Anyway, let me show you what else they found. Finding one, fixed assets. On page 106, the report shows the ministry purchased fixed assets worth $963.5 million in the 2019-2020 year alone, but they did not maintain a master inventory. There was no list of how many assets, no suppliers, no cost per item, no acquisition dates. So how do you buy nearly $1 billion of desks, computers, vehicles, and you don't write down what you had bought? This is not an accident. Finding number 2, contract management. On that same page, the Auditor General sampled contracts and found that 9 contracts worth $335 million were not even entered in the contract register. They were not recorded and they were not tracked. Finding number 3, late contracts. 5 contracts worth $82.93 million were supposed to be completed in the financial year of 2019-2020. As of March 31st, 2021, almost a year later, they were still incomplete, and the ministry had no evidence that the permanent secretary approved any extension. There was no approval, no oversight. It was just an incomplete
Situation. How did they get this far and who let this happen? How did they get promoted year after year and who is responsible? I'm also curious to know what were on these report cards. Are we silently becoming like the United States where the broken education system just pushed through students without learning? Jamaica's education system was always one of the best in the world. So what happened? But here's a real question. Where is the Ministry of Education in all of this?
exactly with the Ministry of Education. So what did the ministry say when the Auditor General confronted them? On the fixed assets, they said presently there's only one officer assigned to manage fixed assets. Only one person for nearly $1 billion of equipment. They say they've asked for more staff, still waiting on approval. On the missing contract register, they promised to create a centralized register by December 31st, 2021. That was like 3 years ago. Did it even happen? Yeah, the Auditor General hasn't confirmed. And here's the kicker. The Auditor General's recommendation: conduct a comprehensive review of internal control and financial reporting mechanisms. That's a polite government language for you have no control over your own money.
If you think Jamaica's education system is preparing the youth for success, think again.
So let's sum this up. The Ministry of Education did not file accounts for 7 years, covering $642 billion of public money. When they finally filed, the Auditor General found nearly $1 billion in assets not inventoried, $335 million in contracts not registered, $82 million in overdue contracts with no approved extensions. And their solution? Just hire one more person. This is not about one corrupt contractor. This is about a system that doesn't even bother to keep receipts. So here's what you can do. One thing, share this video with one person who pays taxes in Jamaica or cares where their money goes. And then ask your member of parliament this one question: why did the Ministry of Education hide its account 7 years? The full Auditor's General report is linked in the description with the page numbers and the sections included. Read it yourself. See you soon.